We're here. What's up?
Yay! What's up? That was an awesome intro.
Thank you. That
Yeah.
is the wonderful producer of Three Witches Entertainment, Genghis. That's all his wizard tree. So
So much talent.
yes, he's awesome.
Yeah, I
So
can't
we
do that
have the
stuff.
wonderful David Howard Thornton, Art the Clown from Terrifier, and I'm sure that eventually you'll be like, "Stop saying that." To everyone who didn't used to say that way.
That's okay. I'll deal.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
Oh
It's
yeah,
cool.
it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Like most
Awesome.
people don't
So
know what I usually look like anyway, so it's just like,
I feel that, but
yeah.
I also feel like I don't look that different out of makeup. But it's happened where I've like went upstairs, cleaned up, went back downstairs, started talking to people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Mischief's really cool," and I was like, "Yeah, she's really cool." And they're like, "Oh, do you know her?" I was like, "That's me," and they're like, "What?" No, it's
Oh, I
not. I
know
was like,
her
"I didn't
very
think I looked
well.
that different," but
We
okay,
talk every day.
we're the best friends
Yeah.
most of the time,
We've showered together.
right? Someone said, "Tell David I said hi. It's Brendan."
Hey Brandon, how you doing, buddy?
Awesome. So you've been busy. You've been at like conventions and all sorts of fun stuff. Where did you just
Yeah.
come from?
Oh gosh, I just got back about a week ago from up in Michigan from Astronomicon.
Oh yeah, that's one I haven't been to yet. Do you
Yeah, that's
like
a
it?
good one. Oh yeah, it's a fun one. It's a fun one. Good guys there.
Looks
They throw
busy.
a wild party. Yeah.
I have heard. I've heard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hello from Scotland. Hi Darren. How's it going?
Hey, Scotland. God, I gotta get out
Yeah.
there one day.
Yeah, me too. That would be like so fun.
Oh man, that's like my family history's out there. Like I'm descended from like Scottish royalty. So
Oh
like,
wow.
oh
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So it's like, oh, I gotta go.
Isn't science great?
Oh yeah, it is. It is like science and history, two of my favorite subjects.
Same. Same. I'm like I can go back and like look at things, it's
Hmm.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did I think ancestry. My parents were like, yeah, we're Native American and Irish and a little bit of German. So I said, well, I want to find out for myself. Guess what? I'm
Hmm.
0% Irish and 0% Native American. I was like, lies. But we
Well,
are
who knows?
German.
Sometimes those things are flawed too. So
Yeah, we're like German, Norwegian, Belgian, kind
hmm.
of Scandinavian in general. I was
Yeah.
like, cool. I'll
Oh
take
yeah,
it.
especially if you're Norwegian. I mean, they got around everywhere. So it's just like,
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Sepsis. That's awesome. Thank you for
yeah,
sharing.
no problem.
So if any of you are new to the show, you can ask your questions in the comments and I'll pop them up. And David will either answer them or he won't.
I don't know. Depends if I see them.
Who knows?
That's why I'm
He's
wearing my
like, nah,
glasses.
I should have worn mine.
Oh, okay. If I do that, I'd smudge mine though. But like, oh, now I really can't see.
Right? I hate that about glasses.
Oh god, because I can't wear contacts. That my eyes just don't like contact lenses that
Really?
much. Yeah, they get bloodshot. Like when I was in
Oh
college.
no.
Yeah, people was like, "Oh, dude, can I get some pot off you?" I'm like, "I'm not stoned. I just have bad contacts."
Like I have allergies.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's just my eyes don't like contacts.
I feel that.
Yeah,
I wear them for like 15 hours a day at conventions and I don't know how I
yeah.
do it. By the end of the day, I'm like,
Oh
I
god, it's
can't
like
see.
ah ah.
Like I'm not squinting at you. I'm just, my eyes are
Yeah,
dry.
I'm just like I'm trying to start a fight with everybody because I'm always squinting.
Feel like
Like
I'm going to fight everybody. Scully.
like Clint Eastwood type of just like especially when I'm outside, I get squinty. I'm just like
You're like, I'm not glaring. I'm trying to see.
yeah, I can't see shit.
Oh,
Well, thanks, Will, but I don't smoke. I
they
have a
said,
smoke allergy, so I can't do any
they
of
said,
that.
what is your Scottish heritage? They're curious.
Oh gosh, oh everybody, gosh, I'm related to Duncan and Malcolm, of Macbeth fame. They're my ancestors. I guess what is it? Andrew Murray or Moray is he is
Hmm.
spelled different ways. He's my ancestor. I'm a direct descendant of his. He's basically the guy that teamed up with William Wallace to for Scottish independence, all that kind of stuff. So
Gotcha.
yeah, like basically, when you find you're related to one bit of royalty throughout Europe, especially like Western Europe, you're basically related to everybody because there was so much intermarriage going on, trying to keep
Right.
peace between all the kingdoms and stuff like that. So it's like, it's crazy. It's like the family tree. Like the Queen of England's one of my cousins. So I'm like, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. It's just my ancestors decided to come over here in the 1600s and start a new country. So it's just like,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Let's see. All right. So we could talk a little bit about Terrifier, but I have other stuff that I want to ask you too. So
Cool.
we'll start
Sounds
there
good.
and then we'll get to some fun stuff.
Yeah. Because
So
Terrifier is horrible.
Terrifier 2
That's not fun
is
at
coming
all.
out. Right, exactly. Terrifier 2 is coming out soon, right? Or is it out?
Yeah. We're still in negotiations right now with distribution and stuff like that. So hopefully in the next few days, even we'll get some kind of deal offered. Or I don't know. It's all out of my control. I just sit here and pester Damien from day to day. So what? So anything? Huh? When are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? No.
Start sending him like Amazon gifts every day with a little note in the package.
Oh my
hey,
God.
Damien, got that date for me?
Like, yeah, but it's coming out by October in some shape
Awesome.
or form. It's just like we are so ready to release this beast. It's like we can't hold it back any longer. We're just like I've had to keep this thing quiet for like 3 years, and I am like horrible with keeping things quiet. So I'm just it's the ADD, coupled with being on the spectrum. It's just like, yeah, I'm probably not the best secret keeper in the world, so I wouldn't be good for the Harry Potter universe.
Right, Harry dies episode 1 because David couldn't keep a secret.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry, don't make me your oath keeper.
Oh, Harry, yeah, he's my bunkmate.
Yeah, it's like, oh God, no.
Murdered.
Yeah, so I'm amazed. I haven't really just revealed everything so far for Terrifier 2. So I'm just like, I've done good. I understand that. I haven't had any real Tom Holland moments yet, so I'm good.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I did Clown Motel 2, I think 2 years ago now, and we're still waiting. Same thing, distribution.
Oh yeah, that's how it goes.
And people are like asking me, and I'm like, I can't say anything about it.
Yeah,
I can't tell you anything.
It's people don't understand. When you're not a big, huge Hollywood studio production, it takes longer to get a movie out. It's like especially like Damien was the only one editing this film, basically.
Oh, wow.
So basically, and it's a long film. Oh my God, it's over 2 hours long. So it's for a slasher that's unheard of. I don't think people will mind.
I don't think. No,
I don't think so, because it's not boring. It's like it's not like some other films like Hereditary or like Midsummer, which were really long movies, and it was like you had big, huge gaps where it's just like yak, nothing happening. Then finally something happens, and nothing happening. It's like Terrifier 2 is the opposite. It's like something's happening. Okay, a little bit of dialogue. Something's happening. A little bit more dialogue, character development. Something's happening. So it's like, whoa.
Stupid character development.
we put the character development and dialogue in there just to give people a chance to breathe, I think.
That's awesome, though. I'm excited. Yeah. Somebody just asked kind of what my next question was. Did you come up with Art the Clown? Did Damien come up with Art the Clown, and you kind of brought your own?
Yeah, that's good question. Damien came up with the character like over a decade ago. It's something he had in his head, I think, in the early 2000s, even that some or even I don't know, sometime around then. I'm probably making crap up, but yeah, that's purely his creation. And then some people don't realize it, but I was not the original Art the Clown. I'm actually kind of the third person to play Art the Clown, if you think about it, because there was Mike Gianelli who played him the first short of Terrifier, and then that was put into the movie All Hallows Eve, and they made some other Art the Clown things. So it was like an anthology film. And then Mike didn't want to come back to do Terrifier, the full-length film, I think because he just wanted to do other things with his life outside of acting and didn't want to do all the makeup again. And so they shot a short film, not short film, but like a teaser trailer for Terrifier with another actor, and he didn't want to wear the contacts.
Oh, jeez.
And so they were like, "Oh, well, okay, so we got to find a new actor." And lucked out that I got to play. So it's like, yeah, it's a pure, cosmic, thing that happened where I was able to play Art because yeah, two different people turned it down, and I'm like, oh well, hey, that worked out for me. And the fine thing was, like halfway through production of Terrifier, we had a tear in my contact lenses.
Oh no.
And we didn't have another pair, and so we just made every scene from that point onward in the film without my contacts, and just for continuity reasons. And in part two, I don't wear contacts, so it's just like,
There you go. You're like, well.
yeah. So it's like, that's how it goes. I always like to say, just in case anybody asks, like the reason Art's eyes changed from black to green is this, like when he got hit by the exterminator with his tank, it knocked out the contact lenses. That's what I say. I mean, that's not actual canon or anything like that, but that's my excuse for it, character wise.
Isn't continuity fun?
Oh, God, it's a pain, especially with blood splatters. That is the most agonizing thing to deal with.
Yes.
It's just because we have to take so many reference photos and everything just so we get the right little speckles everywhere. And sometimes we do scenes where we haven't even filmed the kill scene that puts all the blood on me in the first place. So we don't know how the blood's going to land. So we're like, well, let's hope.
You're like, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I feel that. They did ours all like in different pieces. So like a scene where my clothes get just destroyed happened first. So we did that. Yeah. And then like the next day they're like, oh yeah, by the way, do you have like a second shirt that's the same shirt? I was like, no. Nobody told me I needed to bring a second one. So we just like turned it around backwards.
Oh, see, there you go.
Like it's like a mesh shirt. So we like turned it backwards and like safety pinned the back. I was like, nobody shoot me from the back.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. So that's the thing though, when you're on these like lower budget films, when you have things like that happen and you have no alternative way around it, you have to get creative.
Yep.
It's just like it happens. We've had that happen so many times on both sets, and it just, something happens. We don't have anything else for backup. I'm like, okay, we'll come up with some kind of solution. And like we had a great example of that in part two, where this breakaway glass that I was supposed to come charging through, when they opened the box, it was broken, and it was late at night, and we only had that day to film, so there was no way we could get a replacement pane of glass. And we're like, crap, oh crap, oh crap, what are we going to do? This is a key thing that we have here. And we ended up using the broken glass in a way and made a whole different scene out of that. We just came up with the scene on the fly, and and I think it's a really cool, creepy, creative scene in the movie now. And it wouldn't have been there if it weren't for that broken glass. So it's just like, it would just been a generic guy going through the window going after a victim type thing. Now we have a whole new thing that you've never seen in a horror film before, really. So I'm like, this is great. So
nice.
Yeah, I love those happy accidents sometimes.
Right. All right, Three Witches Entertainment has a question for you.
Mm-hmm. You're truly uncomfortable with what you had to do. I would say it was my Buffalo Bill scene, because I've always been very, very self-conscious about my body, because I've always been a toothpick. And I used to get made fun of growing up a lot for being so skinny, especially where I'm from in the South. It's like, if you're skinny like that, people are like, oh, what's wrong with you? You don't eat or something, because everything's, football. You got to be, big, huge guy and stuff like that. You're not a man if you're not like, I'm like, God, it's so silly. But yeah, I was like, no, I just have a high metabolism. It's like, but yeah, so I was always very, very self-conscious about that. And that scene wasn't even written like that. It was something that Damien approached me about 2 days before we filmed it. He's like, I got a idea that you're probably going to hate, and it's okay if you say no, but I think this would make the scene creepier, is if you actually, instead of wearing the body parts over your clown costume, it would be creepier if you were naked and you were wearing the body parts on top of you. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, that is definitely creepier. That he took the time off to take off his clothes and put another person's body parts, body parts, bloody private body parts
Right.
on him. I'm like, that's creepy. And who wants to see my naked ass? I'm like, oh no, that's scary too. So yeah,
There's always a handful. Let me tell
yeah,
you.
yeah. I guess so. But it's like I also looked at it because like I knew what Catherine was going to have to do for the hacksaw scene. She's
Mhm.
having to expose herself in a very 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 vulnerable manner,
Yep.
and if she's okay with doing that because she knows what that is going to really do for this scene, she's really willing to commit to something like that. Then I can show my butt. So
Right.
okay, I'm gonna show my butt to everybody, and I think everybody was a little bit uncomfortable that night on set, is especially our poor crew guys. They didn't sign up to see me like that, so it was like I was trying to do anything I could to keep it light and fun. So I was making butt jokes the whole entire time, singing songs about butts. That was also that became Sylvester of a thuffer and thuckatash. All of a sudden, that was
Happens.
also Catherine's first, not Catherine, but Samantha's first night with me on set. Really? So yeah, that was so. It's like I come out and I'm like, "Hi, I'm David, and these are my fake boobs. Welcome to Terrifier."
You're like welcome to Jackass, but
Yeah, and
horror
it's like,
style.
yeah, that's how I think we all knew Samantha was awesome because she just started cackling and she's like, "This is freaking awesome. You've got nice boobs."
Like those are great.
Yeah, I'm like, awesome. We're gonna have fun then.
Yeah, I remember watching that for the first time, the hacksaw scene, and we're watching it, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That's inventive, like her hanging upside down.
Yeah.
And then, like, literally, you got the hacksaw out, and I looked over at my partner at the time, and I was like, he's not. He's like, I think he's going to. I was like, oh
Yeah.
no. I was like, oh, yep, there it goes. Like, woo! What a way to go.
Oh boy, worst gynecologist appointment ever.
Right? No children for you.
Nope. Nope.
Nope, we asked that one already. Do you have any other hobbies besides acting?
Oh gosh. Yeah. I actually I was a musician before I was an actor. So I mean I was singing and playing piano, actually playing handbells too, of all things, before I really started acting and stuff like that. So yeah, that was always a pastime of mine. I'm not a fantastic pianist. I can't just sit down and start playing anything like my godfather could. He was our music minister at my church growing up. And you could put any bit of music in front of him. It was the first time he saw it, and he could just play it perfectly. It was like, good God, I wish I had that skill. But oh yeah, a lot of practice. So yeah, that's one of them. I'm also a big bibliophile, so I love reading. I'm that's just how I unwind, especially before I go to bed. I have to read. Also, big gamer. I love my PlayStation. Yeah. So yeah, I've been recently playing the new. It's not new anymore, but it came out like 2 years ago. But they finally made the patch for it, so it's now new, I guess, for me for Cyberpunk 2077. So I've been having fun with that. So yeah. So I love my games. I love my music. I love I just like to be entertained. What can I say? I'm an entertainment junkie. That's my drug of choice.
Which is good. It's way better than anything else,
Yeah, I love good stories. I love good music.
Yes, absolutely. What's your favorite kind of music?
Oh gosh, I'm such an old fart when it comes to music. So I mean, because I grew up around musicians and stuff like that, and so it's like I grew up on a lot of 50s and 60s, 70s, 80s music. So I like that. I also grew up around a lot of jazz and blues. Like my grandmother, back before she went to teaching, she was a professional singer, and she used to, she was asked right before she got married to tour with, I can't remember the name of the group, but at the time it was a huge group back in the 40s, and they were asked her to be their lead singer, and she turned it down because she wanted to get married to my grandfather and start a family instead. So and so she decided to become a teacher. So So yeah, it's kind of that all's in my blood, I guess you could say. So it's
Right. It's
yeah,
passed down.
yeah. Also, I love musical theater too. I mean, I'm a big
Oh, same.
Broadway guy, so that's why I originally moved to New York City. I wanted to go on Broadway, and I never got. I haven't gotten to Broadway yet. I'm not gonna say never because there's always
I was gonna
still the
say you will.
possibility. Yeah, but I've done like some tours from Broadway shows. Like I did like 5 years with How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical.
Hmm.
That was a lot of fun. I was the understudy for the Grinch in that. Who was the wonderfully talented Stephen Carl, who was Robbie Rotten from the show Lazy Town.
Oh, gotcha.
And
Okay.
yeah, and so he was kind of a mentor in a lot of ways because he was actually professionally trained in clowning and all that kind of stuff. So Art the Broadway musical, they call the sound
Except
of
he doesn't speak.
silence.
I was gonna say he doesn't speak,
Yeah,
so
they
it's
can
gonna be
find ways.
like miming.
Hmm.
That's it.
But better.
But better, yeah. More murder.
Yeah, mime's a terrible thing to waste.
I feel that. Thanks, Will. I appreciate
Yep, she's groovy, baby. Yeah.
it. I'm like, it depends on the day. I'm like, sometimes I'm like funny, haha, and then the other days I'm
Sometimes
funny
you're
weird.
funny.
So.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Funny. Uh-oh.
Have you always wanted to be an actor?
I would. I mean, oh, gosh, I guess in the back of my head, pretty much since I was in like middle school, I've wanted to be an actor. But I'm like, I wanted to be a lot of things before that. I wanted to be a veterinarian for a long time. I wanted to be a chemical engineer at one point, a fireman at one point. I actually got a degree in elementary education too, because I was trying to be practical and pragmatic with my life. And I was like, oh, as much as I love acting and everything, it's not a very stable career path. And the likelihood of actually going somewhere with this is very slim. So who knows? I'll teach so I can at least have a stable income of some sort and I can support a family. And then, life has a funny way of throwing you curveballs that change the whole trajectory in your life. And I lost my mom while I was in college. And our last conversation, she pointed out this, I have skills that a lot of people don't have. And she's like, I don't want to tell you what to do with your life, but don't do what you think you have to do with your life. Do what you want to do with your life. Don't live with regrets. And, that sunk in about a year later when I was in my internships in the schools and I was doing story time with my kids and I was doing all the funny voices for all the characters. And I realized I was like, gosh, I get so much more fulfillment out of entertaining my students rather than teaching them. This is what I really need to do. This is my calling. I'm called to entertain people. And that's when I was like, this is what I got to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's wonderful advice. Just
Yeah.
for in general. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Best advice I ever got. Was I surprised about Terrifier becoming as popular as it is? Yeah. Yeah, because when I auditioned for it, I first of all, I had never done film work before. I had done some extra work, but nothing like substantial. I've never had like a main role or even a supporting role in a film. And I wanted to break into it, and so I saw the audition notice for Terrifier, and I saw, okay, yeah, it's a low budget independent film. And I knew about All Hallows Eve. I had seen it, so I knew the character. And I was like, oh, this is an awesome character. And I'm like, this would be a great way to get my foot in the door in this industry and stuff like that. Get some good experience so I can learn how everything works on a set, all that kind of stuff. But is this going to be seen by anybody? Probably not. We had no idea. Because I'm like, we made the film for $35,000. That's
amazing.
Yeah. We were like, no one's gonna see this except for maybe some of the fans from All Hallows Eve. Especially the way it was hardly publicized. When it first came out, there was no real publicity behind it by the people that put it out there. The people that really hyped it were the fans that saw it, and they just got the word out. They went to the different horror sites and they started to go, hey, people got to see this movie, and it just kind of snowballed. So that was a crazy thing to watch because you see Hollywood, they pump millions of dollars into publicity for a film, and they don't get the kind of recognition. They don't get the it's like this, I guess, we captured lightning in a bottle with this movie, because there have been
For sure.
so many. So and I not even looked at it that way. I was like, there are so many horror films, especially slashers, that have come out since the 80s or even the late 90s, concerning Scream and stuff like that. Everybody's been trying to have the next horror icon for the longest time with slashers. And it's, so we're like, who knows if anybody's going to catch on to us too, especially because there's so many other clown movies too.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's like, who knows? But I'm like, Damien had captured lightning in a bottle with this character. He brought something new and fresh to it, and it's like I'm grateful. I'm grateful both to him and the fans, because it's the fans that made it the success it is. It wasn't a studio system; it was purely fans.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I feel like it's amazing for a character who doesn't say a word.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like absolutely insane.
You can't get any quotes from Art the Clown, because there is none.
Just honk honk.
Honk honk. That's it.
Yeah.
And you see him being drawn with Jason, Freddy, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
He's being considered like a staple, horror icon now, which is super awesome.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's like, I mean, there's that poster out there that's it's the Murderverse, where they're doing the whole Endgame from the Marvel universe, and they have all the horror icons on there, and there's Art front and center right there on Black Widow's body, and I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, and this is insane. We've only really released one major film, and we're already up there with those guys. And you see so much other fan art out there with Art in there, with all these other horror legends. And it's crazy. Like, a great moment was when we were at Horror Hound about a month ago in Cincinnati. I was lucky enough to be sitting next to Dick Warlock, Mike Myers from Halloween 2, and also Part 3, he was in that as well. And someone brought a piece of artwork to me with Art the Clown putting a syringe in Michael Myers' neck. And I signed it. I'm like, this is so cool. Oh, I'm in the middle of signing. All of a sudden, Dick just goes, David, what the blankety blank is this? And he shows me this. And I'm like, yeah, got to bring in new blood, old man.
That's awesome.
It's like, this is what happens when you just go home and stare at your reflection in your window all night. And of course, everybody's just laughing, and we're just having fun. Because when I met Dick, he came right over to me. He's like, dude, I love Terrifier. I was like, I'm so happy I get to be right next to you this weekend. I'm like, are you kidding me? I love you. So it's a trip meeting these other horror icons and their fans of our work. Because that was one thing I was really worried about when we first started doing conventions. It's like, God, I'm so nervous about meeting these guys, because we're the new kids on the block. And I was like, God, they're probably looking down their nose at us like, who the heck do these guys think they are? I'm Michael Myers. I'm Jason Voorhees. I'm Freddy frickin' Krueger. Who the heck does this Art the Clown guy think he is? And it was the opposite. It was they were all just so like, oh my gosh, welcome. And thank you for, I guess, breathing new life into the genre. It's like, you're keeping on the tradition. You're extending the legacy of these characters. And I'm like, that's amazing to me. I'd never expected anything like that in my life, to just be hanging out with Kane Hodder, shooting the shit with him. Oh, I just adore Kane.
He's so sweet.
He's so funny too. Oh my God, he cracks me up. He's got such a dry sense of humor. It just kills me.
He really does. He really does. Yeah.
I
just was in a small film with him, Zeta End. And I'm like a zombie extra. And so he was just like hanging out on set, and we were talking, and they said, who wants to get hit by the cop car that Kane's driving? I was like, me. Let's do it.
Yes.
It's like, let's fucking do
That's
it.
awesome. He's such a trip because he's got such a dry, sarcastic sense of humor, and he's like a curmudgeon at times too, which is so funny.
Yep.
He reminds me of Mike sometimes from like Better Call Saul and Breaking
Yep.
Bad. You know, sometimes it's actually when we're there in Cincinnati too. I'm like sitting there signing autographs, and I hadn't been able to go over and see him. So instead, he came over to see me, and I'm in the middle of signing autographs. And I just hear this, "Hey, hey, David," and I'm like, "Yes." It's like, "What the heck? You're not going to come say hi?"
Like, I'm busy.
And I'm like, "Hey!" And I go running over. He's like, "Oh, get away from me! Get away from me!" I'm like, "Give me a hug, King. Give me a hug. Come on. You know you love me.
Bring it in."
He's like, "Come on." He's like, "Oh, stop it! No."
Thank you, Genghis.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna take a quick word from our sponsor over at Dezea's Creep Shop, and we'll be right back. That was a word from Dezea's Creep Shop. She just makes like the creepiest shit, like dolls and shirts and sacrificial cutting boards, because why not?
I can't imagine waking up to one of those dolls in the middle of the night. That would just be like, nope, I'm out of here.
You need a Art the Clown baby.
Oh yeah.
Like a little baby doll.
Yeah, I think there's some out there actually.
Probably. It wouldn't surprise me.
Oh yeah.
Anytime I go to like a horror store, I think I sent you a picture. We went to a random horror store in Ohio, and they had a big, like, I can't remember. It was like 3/34 scale of Art the Clown. And I was like, hey, look, it's you.
That's so cool. I just love it. It's wild. It's wild.
It's awesome is what it is.
Yeah.
How long is that makeup process?
Oh, it originally took about 4+ hours.
Wow.
Because we've gotten it down since then, but yeah, it used to take a lot longer. We used to actually glue a bald cap to me too, which was annoying. And then Damien would put the gelatin mask on me, and then he would paint it. And we've now we've eliminated the bald cap, and we've pre-painted the mask. He just has to do all the black detail afterwards. He has all the white. And we were doing a gelatin mask for both films. And the gelatin mask is a pain because it's water soluble, and so it starts to disintegrate once it gets liquids on it. And when you have prosthetics in your mouth that make you drool from time to time, it just, or you're in cold environments that make your nose run a lot, it starts to disintegrate, and it falls apart very easily. And I was always having to go to, I called it triage, just to fix my makeup, which would take sometimes 45 minutes to an hour to do. So then that's precious time when you're racing the sun and stuff like that. So it's
for sure.
So we recently we tried it out on 1 or 2 days of filming Terrifier 2 with a foam latex mask, which you need a separate oven to do those, a special type of oven to do those in, because the fumes are toxic. Yes. And we've discovered, oh my gosh, it's so much better. It holds up so much better. It comes off better too. It's lighter. It's just wonderful. And so now that we're doing the conventions, we started bringing the foam latex mask with the conventions now, and I can get my mask on in about an hour.
That's awesome.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful because like Damien and I would have to show up hours before anybody else on set. And God, I'm like, when you're doing day after day after day of day after day of that, it's like you're getting maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep per night because
Mm-hmm.
you leave late. It takes about an hour to get that off originally, and
Yep.
then you have to get back, hours before everybody else just to get back on. So it's like it's so much nicer that we have a better mask system now. So once we start doing part 10 one day, we're gonna have it down to a science.
Right? It's gonna be like flash makeup.
Yeah. Boom.
That's awesome. Thank you, producer.
He's so
Yeah,
horny.
foam is so much better to work with in general. Foam is
Oh,
so
it
much
really
better.
is. It really is.
It can take a lot more of a beating, for sure.
Oh, definitely. And when you're shooting for like 12 plus hours, you need that.
Yeah, well, and you need your sleep too. So
Oh, sleep's wonderful. Oh my God, poor Damien. I mean, he got less sleep than anybody because he would have to also make my mask after he got back from set.
Right.
So I'm like, there were days where he just had not had sleep for like a few days. And I'm just like, oh my God. I just remember like one night we're filming and he's just eyes closed, head on. He's like, okay, rolling. Okay, great. That looked good. Let's do another one for safety. He didn't even look at. He was just eyes closed. He was just trusting everybody else.
He's like,
in
I
the
trust
crew.
you.
He
He's like, I
trusted
can't even.
everybody else. He was just so tired. I'm like, oh.
I feel that. Yeah, that's like one thing that I wish I would have been prepared for as far as indie films go. We showed up like a day before we were supposed to be on set,
and
we stayed at the actual Clown Motel in Tonopah, Nevada.
Oh wow, cool.
So we, got there the day before just to like get kind of our bearings and that kind of stuff. And we hadn't even gotten the car door open yet. Director runs over and he's like, hey, somebody in your scene, your big fight scene has to leave by like 2 a.m. So we're actually going to film like in the next 2 hours. We're like, okay, cool. I mean, we weren't supposed to film today, but I do my own makeup. Sure. Like give me an hour and I'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
And we filmed from like 6 p.m. until 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then we were back on set at 8 a.m. for the next round of filming. So it was like an hour nap. Like I went in like half-ass washed my face off and was like, cool, nap time.
Yeah.
Got back up, put it back on.
You just find those moments on set where they're setting up a new scene, changing the lighting and everything to take a good power nap.
See, for me, it was like, I need to eat something. So I ran to the gas station because if you've ever been to Tonopah, there's like nothing there.
Oh, I imagine.
So we ran to the gas station and I found a Hot Pocket. I was super happy about
God.
it. I was like, yeah, Hot Pocket.
Diarrhea pocket.
Pretty much, yeah. Like my stomach wasn't happy, but I was like, I'm cool for right now at least.
Oh yeah, we had those nights too. It was like we always make fun of our producer Phil for the night that he brought beef tips in. So it's just like that's an ongoing joke that night with the beef tips. It's just like they were so chewy, and then you just hear everybody later on that night just I'm like, uh-oh.
How many bathrooms do we have?
Yeah. I actually think that is actually the night where I actually had a fart take where it just I'm like rearing back with my weapon. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Should be a blooper.
I told him like this has got to go on the blooper reel. This is hilarious because it's just so funny because I'm in full just I'm like, whoopsie.
I'm like the worst. I'm telling you, when this film comes out, I'm pretty sure I'm 90% of the blooper reel because I can't be serious ever. Especially as Mischief. She just is not serious at all.
Oh, of course not.
And there's a scene where I get hit with a guitar. Like an acoustic guitar. So like it wouldn't hurt if he actually had hit me with it.
Yeah.
And he was like really worried about hurting me. I was like, you're fine. Just go for it. So the first time he did it softly. So it made a really stupid like dong noise. Like it just rang out forever. So I'm like leaned over and I'm literally start dying. Director's like, okay, let's do it again, but don't laugh this time. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, it just made like the stupidest noise.
Zing.
It like rang. It just rang out forever, and I'm like,
Yeah.
somebody yell cut! I'm dying.
Yeah. It just makes me think of the old Quick Draw McGraw El Kabong cartoon, just where you just hit people with a guitar. Boom!
Legit, and it makes that noise. I don't.
Yeah, and don't you forget it.
Pretty much.
El
I saw on
Kabong,
your
yeah.
IMDb you have done some voiceover work. Do you enjoy doing
Yes.
that?
Oh, I love doing voiceover work. That's why I need to move out to LA one day, because there's so much more of the work out there than there is here in New York, unfortunately. So it's just like, yeah, I love it though. It's so much fun because I get to play characters I could never play in real life, and you can go crazy. You don't have to worry about how you look. You don't have to have everything memorized. You just go in there, act like a goofball for a few hours, make a good chunk of change, and you have fun. It doesn't even feel like work. But it's like the funny thing is, usually when I do like voiceover work, I usually have to come home and take a nap afterwards. I'm just so drained.
I bet.
I'm playing too hard.
I feel like you almost have to put like twice the amount of work in it because
Yeah.
you're trying to convey your emotions through voice.
Yeah.
Instead of also body language.
Oh yeah, especially fight scenes. Fight scenes are so hard to do.
I bet.
With just your voice. It's like it's challenging because you're having to do different types of sounds, especially for video games. They have to get different sounds for different types of punches and different impact hits and stuff like that. And it's silly work too, because you realize what you sound like. It sounds like you're doing a porno because you're just in there going, it's like, I was like, yeah, someone's just passing by and they hear this, they're like, what is going on? Like, bite your lip and give it help, buddy.
You need a plumber.
Yeah, and probably my downstairs neighbors are going, what the heck is he doing?
That makes it harder if you live in an apartment, I'm sure.
Oh, it does. It's like I just know sometimes people are like, oh my god, this guy sounds insane. Because I sometimes have had I do a lot of I do like the same I do a lot of the same kind of work that Frank Welker does, where he does all these animals and creatures and stuff like that.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'll be in there singing and that kind of stuff, and it sounds like I have a full farm going on in my room, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, world, for anybody that's hearing me right now. You probably think I'm absolutely insane.
I feel that on a spiritual level.
Yeah,
mine's my face though, because like I said, I do my own makeup, so when we go like to a convention, I'm already like ready,
oh yeah,
walk in. So like I'll walk out of my house and the people are like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to a convention.
I'm going to church.
They're like, okay. Like anytime we go through a drive-through, people are like,
oh yeah,
are you gonna kill me?
I love it.
Maybe.
Love it. I used to even do that back in my community theater days back in Alabama with our children's theater, because I usually played a lot of crazy creatures and stuff like that. A lot of animals I would play. So like when I played Nico, the head of the flying monkeys in Wizard of Oz, I would have fun just riding back home in the car. I would sometimes just refuse to take my makeup off at the theater because I just wanted to drive around with that makeup on and freak people out. Just be like, hi, and stoplight.
Stoplights are my favorite because I will purposely not make eye contact because I know they're looking at me. And then I just do the slow like.
Oh yeah.
What's up?
I have so much fun, especially when I'm in full Art the Clown makeup and we have to drive somewhere. I'm like, oh, let me ride shotgun. I gotta have some fun with the public. I'm like, this is fun.
Just like at the window.
Oh yeah. Oh, the best was when we were shooting upstate for part 2 up in Canajoharie, New York, which is in the middle of Amish country.
Oh God.
And we'd be coming back from set like early in the morning. The sun's just starting out, so like a lot of the Amish are on their way to do their Amish things. And I'm in full costume and makeup, got blood all over me. And we're just driving down. We pass a buggy, and I'm like. You just see the guy. Oh,
You need to go. You need to start GoProing the car. Just like,
it's great.
and you guys can make it a little like mini web series, like Art goes to whatever, like wherever you're at.
Yeah. I really think I think anytime we ride in a car now with me dressed up as Art, we have to film because it's just the reactions you get from people at stoplights. You get some people that are like, ah, other people are like, other people are just like.
It depends on what city and state you're in, because
you just never know what reaction you're going to get. Other people just start laughing, like, yeah, that's awesome. It's great. You just never know where you're going to get.
Yeah, I've said the same thing a million times. I've had it where like I've stopped at a stoplight and they'll roll their window down and they're like, so I'll roll it down and they're like, "You're cool." I'm like, "You're cool. What's up?" And they're like, "Are you doing a thing?" I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way to a convention, and I like throw a business card out the window. I'm like, "Here you go." Bye.
Well, you're kind of like, what makeup?
I'm like, what?
I have
like, I'm afraid of clowns. I'm like, clowns where? Terrified.
It's just fun to mess with people like that. It's just like, yeah.
Especially the normies, because they're just like so bothered. Yeah. They're like, oh yeah. Why? What is this?
That's what's the thing. It's like here in New York, people don't look at you twice. They're like, oh, okay, whatever.
I bet, yeah. I live in Nebraska, so
yeah. That's like that was how it was for me in Alabama too. They're like, oh my goodness.
The people here are just like,
it's like, you need
am I gonna die?
It's like I remember back when I was in the Grinch, when we were in Houston, I did some publicity work there in Houston, dressed as the Grinch, and I rode like their public transportation system and stuff like that. And oh my God, I had so much fun. It was just like, because you walk on a train dressed as the Grinch, people freak out. They're just like, they're like, what the, that's the Grinch. And it's like the people become little kids again too, which is really fun. You can get away with anything as the Grinch.
The Grinch is like one of those characters though, that he can say literally anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I even do that here in New York for publicity. They're like, oh, we can take you in a car back to the office. Like, no. I want to walk the streets of New York as the Grinch and just fuck with people in Times Square.
Yep.
And I was just walking up behind people and like, what are you doing? I move, left foot, right. Come on, it's not hard. You know, that kind of stuff. And they're like, at first they get mad. They see me. They're like, oh, it's a Grinch. Oh my God. I go by people at their outdoor cafe and I just grab the bread off their table and start eating it. And they're like, what the? Hey.
You're like, cool.
Yeah. Thanks for the bread. Not. Spit it out. You can do whatever. Awesome. It's so freeing. It's so same thing with art. Yeah, I can get away with anything. I when I'm doing my photo ops at the conventions, I like to mess with the people around the convention and stuff, like sneak up behind people, honk the horn, scare people, all that. I love it. I have scared so many grown men. It makes me so happy.
I bet. That's like the best part about scaring people in general is the grown men.
Got a cat. Hey.
Cat!
Why did you jump on the keyboard, silly? You don't do that. You see that there.
The cat was like, there is a clown on your screen. Kill it.
Yeah. This is like, what are you doing? Like,
commercial coming soon. Thank you, producer.
Brought to you by Kitty Litter.
By Kitty Litter. Well, you know.
By a butt.
We'll listen to a commercial from our sponsors. Oh my God, I can't speak.
English hard.
Sponsor is over at Royal 10 Clothing.
I'm glad it wasn't.
Words are hard.
Yeah. Man, I needed that Beware the Moon shirt for like that night on set when for the Buffalo Trace thing. Beware the moon.
Now someone's gonna make a Beware the Moon shirt, and it's just clowns or the clown's ass.
Yeah. It's like, oh God.
You've put it out in the universe. Way to go.
There we go. It's gonna happen now.
It's gonna happen.
And then it's gotta be tattooed on somebody, and
oh my gosh. That's the. I'm sure there are Art the Clown like tattoos out there.
oh, there's so many now. We used to try to like document every single one on Instagram, and we tried to keep count, and that was like 3 years ago, and we lost count. Or like there's probably been thousands since then.
I bet.
It's insane, and they're so good. Like there have been amazing ones, some like really like stunning ones that are like so photorealistic, and then you see some really creative cartoonish ones too, and I'm like, oh, I just love seeing the difference, the different ideas people have come up with for these tattoos.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to be the one that gets the beware of the moon tattoo.
Beware of the moon, just art going.
Yep, it's gonna happen.
I can see it already in my head.
We need to do a convention together.
Yeah, it's like the back of his costume's unzipped, and he's just like.
We need to get him one with a butt flap. You know,
like the old timey pajama things. Oh, those butt flaps crack me up so much.
I just feel like that would be like the best.
Oh yeah.
You want a Mischief tattoo? I think there's one person in the world that has a Mischief tattoo, and it's awesome.
Yeah. That actually makes it even feel more special.
I was like, that's weird. I'm like, now I'm on your body forever.
It's a crazy concept to think that, people have got your face on their body for the rest of their life.
It's very strange, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
at least it's a good picture. I mean,
yeah.
It could be a bad one.
Yeah, it could be like those pictures people have gotten where they got their like kid tattooed on, and they're like, it's like, oh God, that's not flattering.
Isn't
like,
he
what
cute?
happened? It's like, no. And then you see the photo they use. I'm like, oh, that's an injustice to that photo. It's just
the photo was kind of cute.
Yeah, the photo was cute, but my God, what is that? It's like some Cronenberg type thing. It's just like no regrets.
No regrets. Not even one letter.
Yeah.
So are there any like dream characters for you? Is there like something that you would just like love to play that's like on your bucket list?
Oh yeah, there's several of those. I mean, the most obvious one and my biggest one, of course, is the Joker. I've been able to play him on a web series, but I really want to play him like in a true like TV series, especially because God, no one does him right. No one does him right. It's just Hollywood does not understand the character at all. They're all trying to make him creepy and all that. I'm like, no. They're like, no, he's very theatrical. He's all about the spoken word. He's a master wordsmith. He loves to play with the English language. He loves to monologue. He loves to hear himself talk. He's wonderful. I love him. It's just like, and no one does him right. It's just like, God, you have 80 plus years of material to go off of, and you still can't do it right. Just stick to the source material. So that's why I want to do. I want to do him right. I want to do for him what Mark Hamill did just for the the voice. I want to do that just pure on live action. Just like bring him to life that way. Bring the comic book, like stick to the costume, stick to the look, everything.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, of course there are other ones. I mean, I recently was saying that's like someone asked me like, what would you like to reboot? And I would love to reboot The Mask.
Ooh,
and do it like the original comic book, the violent, bloody version. I think that would be a lot of fun. I love that character so much. I would love to play Riddler too. I would definitely like to play him. I would like because he's such a cerebral, egotistical character. And, I liked how Paul Dano played him. It's like I think the aesthetic of him with the whole Zodiac killer thing, not as much, but I like the characterization he brought to him. That he's a master tactician in a lot of ways, and he's very egotistical, and he thinks he's the smartest man in the room. So I would love to really take that approach, of course, to him as well. But also character I'd love to play, going back to my Broadway type stuff, is I can't believe this has still not been made into a Broadway show when they've already made Beetlejuice and Harry Potter and all this kind of stuff into Broadway shows, is Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
I'm like, how has this not been made into a Broadway musical yet? And you could do amazing things with puppetry for that, costumes, and you could do so much creative, cool things. It already has a great soundtrack and a great score, great lyrics, everything to it. And I'm like, I would, and I usually don't want to play like the heroic characters and the more serious characters, but I would love to play Jack Skellington. And that would be such a fun
I think you'd be really good at it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So those are some of the roles. I'm getting. I guess this is like my first big announcement of this. I guess I can kind of make it official. I'm getting to return to my Grinchy roots in a few weeks.
Very cool.
So, but in a different form, I guess you could say. So.
Gotcha.
So
be on the lookout for that.
Yes, yeah. I'm going up and flying out to LA in a few weeks to go film for a few days. So that should be fun to become the green mean one again. So yay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm making sure I didn't miss anything here on the side. I don't think so. So that means shameless plug time.
Oh,
where can they find you? What do you want to promote? Your turn.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram under David Howard Thornton. I'm also have Cameo and a memo page as well. So if you want me to do some birthday greetings and all that fun kind of stuff, I'm happy to do that as well. Other shameless plugs, of course, Terrifier 2 is coming out this fall. I'm also doing another horror film with a lot of horror legends called Stream that is coming out sometime in the next year or so. We're almost finished filming that. I mean, we have like Dee Wallace, Tony Todd, Daniel Harris, Daniel Roebuck, Jeffrey Combs, Felissa Rose, Dave Sheridan, all these awesome actors in this movie, and it's crazy. And we're hoping it's going to become another horror slasher franchise as well. So knock on wood on that. It's a lot of the Terrifier team's been working on it. So Damien's doing all the prosthetics and all that fun stuff. So the kills are going to be gnarly, and it's the Fuzz and Lens guys that wrote it and directed it. So it's fun. It's a fun film. So I'm excited for people to see that. So yeah. So there's some good stuff coming out. And of course, this other film I just dropped on you guys. I don't know when that's going to be releasing, but I'm going to be filming that soon too. So stay tuned for some Grinchy fun as well.
Absolutely. And whenever the date for Terrifier 2 gets announced, I will share that on my page.
Thank you. I'm hopefully sooner than later, because I am so ready just to say this is when it's coming. Right now. Yes. It's like, come on, because I can't wait to say what it's going to be on and how we're getting it out to people and all that. We got ideas, but we're knocking on wood right now. It's just like it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. I feel it. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight, David. It was a blast. It was a fun time.
Thank you. I had a blast chatting with you as well. Thanks for putting up with my craziness.
I'm crazy too, so it's like put the two weirdos in a room together.
Oh yeah.
It's always fun.
Guaranteed to have fun.
All right. Tune in. So next week I will not have my show on Wednesday, but the week after I will have Angel Bradford on. She's an up and coming screen queen.
I love her. She helped me at my table at Mad Monster Party.
Yes.
This year. Yeah, she's so talented. Oh, so she's talented. Wonderful. I love Angel. She is an angel.
She is an angel. She's beautiful.
Yes.
All right, guys. We love you all, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Bye.
Bye.